Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fish Vlog number 216. And if you've been following the channel for any length of time, you're going to recognize this as one of the earlier models of my high humidity planters. It has some features that I've eliminated since then, but in general, it works really well. I haven't had any issues with it. But my point from this is, it is well, 3-4 years old at least. I should have probably gone back through my videos and checked when I actually had put it together, but at least that long. And this is only the second time I've cleaned it. The problem with this sort of, as you can see there, the problem with this sort of filter system is, well, it's reliable, it does really well, you don't have to worry about it, and unfortunately sometimes it can get ahead of you. I was noticing that the fish in here were having, slightly different behavior. They weren't as active, and that's always a sure sign that the chemistry is not the best, so it's time to clean this thing. So I thought I'd spend today's video and go through it, because it is really easy to do, and I have no real excuse at all for not doing it more often. What happens with these high humidity planters is that tray gets full of mulm, and the more full of mulm it gets, it is less and less and less efficient. So as you see here, it's got a lot in there. And what I'm going to do is just this. That's all I'm going to do. I am going to rinse it a couple of times. I'm going to pat down the Java firm, because the new leaves will come up and it'll fill up that chamber again. But it's much easier to get the lid back on when they're packed down a little bit. So yeah, I mean, that is all I really need to do for that. But obviously the other thing I'm going to do at the same time is I'm going to clean the box filter that runs this. Now, if you've been following along for any length of time, I have a number of these that are run by either underground filters, which work really well, and a number of them run by box filters now. And I think I did a video some time ago trying to rate which one was better, which one's in long term. It doesn't really make any difference. They're both very good. So off camera, I have cleaned off the algae that was growing on the inside of the box, and I'm going to put that back in. And you can see why I pack these things down. I guess getting those leaves in there is just annoying, and it doesn't really affect its ability to filter. So it's just trying to make it easier on myself. And yeah, once it's set in there, those leaves will grow back up into fill the top part of that box like you saw at the beginning of the video, and yeah, that's all there is to that. So this is going to take the box filter out. Again, very easy to clean a box filter. And this is the new style. I think it's one of the earlier ones yet again. I think I put this one on when I had last cleaned this. And so it's been a little while. And you'll notice there's a white cloud in there. Apparently got in there as a fry and has grown up inside the filter. So the filter is actually still doing its job. It's just not as efficient as I'd like. So I'm going to rescue him, and then we're going to clean the filter. And I think I've done a video once before of cleaning these box filters. It is very, very straightforward. I put on, if you remember from the build videos for these, there's a little piece of slightly larger diameter acrylic piping. You can see here in a second. I'm going to grab it, and I just grab, there it is. I grab by there, and then I can gradually just lift that out. And he is going to get trapped there, of course, and I will just let him go in the aquarium. The bottom tray is attached to the standpipe solidly, so I can just lift that out by itself. So he's gone now. And then the simple fact of cleaning these things, and this is, again, this is basically my problem. This is inertia more than anything else, really. I mean, this is how simple it is to clean a box filter, and I can do a whole pile of these in about 10 minutes. You just, forget about it, and you do other things that you'd rather do in your fish room, I guess. And yeah, it's I don't take it out. I just give it a couple splashes. This is the water that was using to clean the upper chamber, the high humidity planter part. All that doesn't matter if it gets in there. I'm using tap water. It's not tap water. I'm using tank water, but tap water is just as good. I mean, it doesn't really make any difference. You're only rinsing in here, and you don't really get any real loss of bacteria or anything besides the stuff that's just washed off. I use tank water because the tanks are over here and my, well, my hose and everything else is on the other side of the fish room, and it's just easier to do it this way. And also I'm going to just, give this a shake or two and let it rinse through. What I'm watching for here is how well the water flows through it. As you see, it just flows through really easily, so that's the only real important part about this. And I will not bother cleaning the algae off the inside of the box filter at all. I'll just give it a rinse. There's a bit of gravel in there as well, and I will dump that into one of the trays. And that's it. That's as easy as this is. And like I said, I have no excuse. I was going to say I have an excuse. Well, that's just life. I have no excuse not to clean these more frequently. Of course, they don't really need it, and sometimes, like I said, things just get ahead of you. So there you go. That is a clean box filter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how easy it is to reassemble this. I really like those little add-on pipes. They make things so much simpler to reinsert these. You just hang on to it and then just let it slide down. And of course, it keeps everything nice and separate for water flow. So it's make sure everything goes where I want it to go. And then just put the lid on. There you go. A clean filter. Now I'm going to put this back together for you. I'm going to cut the clips of this just a little bit shorter, of course. It is pretty much exactly just the reverse of what I just did. So I'm going to toss this in and make sure there's nothing underneath it. Sometimes I'll get snails there, so I just like to give it a bit of a wiggle and set it down properly so it's not setting on anything. There you go. That's all I'm doing, is just making sure there's nothing underneath it. And then the second part, of course, is just to drop in the high humidity planter part itself. As you can see, there's next to no mulm in there now. This does, of course, dirty the tank. As you can see, the water there is quite murky, but it doesn't take very long to clear. I'll definitely show you a clip of this in the next vlog, just to show you that everything's fine. And it's a simple matter now of popping the long rigid tube in. Now, at the beginning there, you saw I inspected it, and the reason for that is whenever you bubble air through one of these things, they tend to plug up, either calcium or bacteria or just sludge in general. And I was just making sure that it was clear before I put it back in here. It's not hard to pull it out, but it's one of those things that you just never think of, and that's the problem. So I'm going to clean the front glass here. I'm going to show you how this is like 2 inches down from the top. I'm going to show you it running. It does run at this level, but obviously not ideal. And then the final clip will be when the water is at its proper height. And yeah, it's like I said, these things don't pump a lot of water, but they pump more than enough for a 15-gallon tank. And the nice thing I like about the high humidities is they're not in the aquarium. They don't take up any space in there. Obviously the box filters do, but if you're concerned about having extra space in your tank and you don't want to take it up too much, then use the underground version, and the two of them together are just as good. I'm going to keep working on both of them because I do like them both. So anyway, thank you for watching. Leave comments, let me know what you think about all this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.